Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Mayday Media. We're pointing out a couple of articles on the internet. I've got a couple articles for you here today you might find of interest. I thought they were quite interesting. They're more of a comparison articles compared to China, U.S., and what's going on. If you like this kind of stuff, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. Energy officials call for queering nuclear weapons. I have heard it all now. I really don't understand how we're going to be able to queer them, but let's take a look into this article. A recent hire at the Biden-Harris Department of Energy's Nuclear Security Administration believes that queer theory is crucial to American security as part of her sprawling diversity, equity, and inclusion ideology. Fox News revealed Wednesday. Sneha Nair, a special assistant in the NSA, has written a past about the intersection between DEI and nuclear security implements, arguing that DEI is an important framework for addressing widespread social and political inequities with critical implications for strengthening security at nuclear facilities. DEI is essential for strong nuclear security implementation, she said in a Stimson Center article, adding that creating a diverse, equitable, and inclusive nuclear security culture requires organizations to ensure that DEI is seen as a critical component of security throughout the organization, from the executives to the guard force. Nair was formerly a research analyst with the Nuclear Security Program at Stimson, which receives hundreds of thousands of dollars in funding from George Soros' Open Security Foundations. In a June 2023 opinion article, Nair made the case for queering nuclear weapons, imploring policymakers to look to LGBTQ plus encouragement for better nuclear policy outcomes, and build environments in which queer people can bring their specific skills and lived experiences to bear without fear. Queer theory is a field of study closely related to feminist. You know what? I mean, I really don't want to read this stuff, man. I mean, that examines sex and gender-based norms, she wrote, shines a light on the harm done by nuclear weapons through uranium mining, nuclear tests, and tax money spent on nuclear weapons, $60 billion instead of education, infrastructure, and welfare. The queer lens prioritizes the rights and well-being of people over the abstract ideas of national security, and it challenges a mainstream understanding of nuclear weapons, questioning whether they truly deter nuclear weapons, stable geopolitics, and reduce the likelihood of conventional war. Queer theory asks who created these ideas and how they are being upheld, whose interests do they serve, and whose experiences are being excluded. The Biden-Harris administration passed an executive order on June 2021 that established a government-wide initiative to advance diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility in all parts of the federal workforce. One that forced federal agencies to review whether employees who are members of undeserved communities face barriers to employment, promotion, or professional development within their workforce. DOE is now requires applicants to list information about their DEI efforts through promoting inclusive and equitable research plans, in which they must detail their strategies to promote diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility of the. Okay, so let's go over this here. Queering nuclear weapons is, I guess, a way to stop nuclear weapons. What it looks like to me is a way to get all kinds of foreign people inside these facilities because of their diversity and who they are, like, say, terrorists from other countries, stuff like that. This is one thing it looks like to me. Another thing, this is the art of war, and you have to understand that by making yourself look weak, you can still be really, really strong. And the U.S. does this a lot. They'll throw this shit out here like this, or they'll have something they're promoting. And it's really just to get other countries to laugh and think you're really nothing, but you're really a badass, and that's the U.S. and other countries play it the other way. For instance, on this article, China's new cooling devices increases hypersonic missile flight time to reach the U.S. Well, they're showing their balls. Yeah, and this is probably all they've got, because the U.S. will have something 3 times, 4 times better. And so in this case, they're showing you the opposite. They're acting big when they're really small. This is another tactic of art of war, Shun Sui. I'm a smaller built guy, so when I'm coming into a situation where things might be getting a little hairy, I do try to act a lot bigger and tougher than what I am. I try to stare you in the eyes and stare you down. If it looks like it's going to go, I can still outrun you because I'm smaller. But I'm still trying to put up that front, like, what's up with, maybe I better back away. Now, it doesn't happen all the time. It's just something that in those moment situations, I do try to give that perception. When in real life, I'd get my butt beaten down in half many times before. But this is what China's doing, and U.S. is doing the opposite. It's trying to show how weak it really is. They're still, 14 super aircraft carriers, 300 nuclear submarines, good luck. We got 50 to 1 on air forces. We outnumber Russia alone. The thing that worries me is this putting in the diversity thing, because to me that's a way to get spies in, especially, I don't know if we get Chinese. The Asians will probably not even be included in this DEI thing. More Arab type and blacks and people that might not have the right IQ to be around these things. Really, that's another thing. You notice it didn't say anything about, we're going to check their IQs, make sure they're smart enough to be around this stuff. No. If I took an IQ test to be around, I would probably not qualify for it. And I'm by no means an idiot, especially something like this. This would be serious business. You would have to be a completely different man. And there's some that ain't capable of that. China's new cooling device increases hypersonic missile flight time to reach the U.S. China claims that new cooling device can improve the hypersonic missile's flight time by nearly 2.5 hours. China's National University of Defense Technologies College of Aerospace Science and Engineering claims they have developed a new cooling device. The university, this time is significantly longer than previously purported solutions and enough for a journey from one side of the Earth to the other. A solution is the searing heat. According to the bulletin from the atomic scientists, flying at high speed through the atmosphere causes significant drag. Because drag slows weapons, they are no faster and can take longer to reach their targets than other warhead delivery systems, such as ballistic missiles flown on depressed trajectories. Low altitude flight also causes intense sustained heating of these missiles because the atmosphere is more dense at low pressures. The searing heat at hypersonic vehicles are subject to, during glide limits, their performance and their fundamental technology challenge to develop faster and longer range versions of these weapons. As a body's aerodynamic heating increases with roughly its velocity cubed, the vehicle gliding at Mach 5 would experience more than 100 times the heating of one gliding at Mach 1 at the same altitude. A further threefold increase in the speed, Mach 5 to Mach 15, would increase the heating by nearly a factor of 30. Whew. The intense heat led to the failure of many hypersonic missiles. Chinese scientists claim that the new devices managed to control this searing heat. How the device performs, the device's simple structure and relatively low cost stem from the absence of complex components such as heat pipes or booster pumps. Additionally, it is reusable, requiring only the addition of a clean water before each flight. The system uses the thermal energy from aerodynamic heating as the driving force of the active cooling cycle, achieving autonomous pressurization and cooling of the heat-controlled device. It ensures the proper functioning of critical components in specific areas under extended flight conditions and fulfills the design goals of effectively utilizing heat for hypersonic aircraft. Traditional cooling methods are ineffective in these conditions. The team needed to think creatively to find a solution. The cylindrical cooling device was designed for the next generation of hypersonic aircraft that went into test in 2022. The bottom of the cylinder makes contact with the underside of the aircraft, causing it to heat up. During the flight, the heat moves from the top of the cylinder while cooling the waters flows clockwise inside the device, driven by pressure produced by the temperature-sensitive components. A water storage container at the top is filled with the aerogel capable of absorbing water. Let's see. Testing revealed it can maintain the cabin pressure below 100 degrees Celsius. After that, the coolant begins to boil and vaporize, transferring heat more rapidly until it reaches peak efficiency by the 66th minute. At this point, high temperature steam slowly escapes through the pressure release valve, and the aerogel's porous structure ensures the steady of the prolonged vaporization process. That's a lot to say. The aerogel provides thermal insulation, keeping the cabin pressure temperature low even after the water evaporates. The device was simpler than high-temperature heat pipes that use liquid metal as a cooling medium. Scientists suggest the device could cool critical areas such as air rudders and electronic equipment. Well, I'm sure the U.S. has had this for 20, 30, 40 years already. Nothing new. Anyway, just a comparison there. Here's what we're talking about. Here's what they're talking about. Don't forget what I told you about the art of war. And don't forget to get that little book, The Art of War. It's a good read. It's about 80 pages. It's good for males to know, your sons, all that stuff. Anyway, like, subscribe, toodaloo.